Okay, this is quiz number 3, problem number 3 on the purple form of the quiz. So we want to use the limit definition, otherwise known as the formal definition, to find the derivative of, well, this function should look familiar. It's the same one we've been using for the last 2 problems. It's also the same one we're going to use for the next problem. So we've got negative x squared plus 2x minus 1. Alright. So we already know from the power rule that this is going to be negative 2x plus 2. Right? This negative 1, take the derivative, it will become 0. 2x becomes 2. Negative x squared, bring the 2 down. Reduce this power to 1. You get minus 2x. So there's our derivative. But I asked specifically for the limit definition to use that. So if you had this, well, there's a point, you have the answer. However, I wanted to see that we know how to use limits here. So in this case, the derivative is limit as h approaches 0, f of x minus h, x plus h. You could use either, but we're using x plus h, minus f of x all over h. Well, in this case, if this is f, well, then I'm going to have negative x plus h squared plus 2x plus h minus 1 minus negative x squared plus 2x minus 1. Okay. So there's just regular f of x. There's f of x plus h. Divide this whole thing by h. Okay. So we want to make sure we have x plus h everywhere. We saw x over here. Then over here just x's. And now we losing my camera. Back on track. Okay. So once we simplify this, over here we're going to get, see, negative x squared minus 2xh minus h squared. This is what comes from this negative x plus h squared over here. Then you get plus 2x plus 2h. That's what comes from this guy right here. Got minus 1. Okay. Minus, well, over here we're going to get, well, in this case we're just distributing the negative to each of these terms, so minus x squared will be plus x squared, minus 2x, minus negative 1, so that's plus 1. Okay? And now these parentheses aren't really doing much for me, so I can just kind of look at what's going to cancel here. And, oops. One thing I don't want to forget, 2 things I don't want to forget actually. Dividing this all by h. We want to remember we're taking the limit. Right? So I forgot to write it up here too. Limit as h approaches 0. Should technically be written on each step because we're writing equal signs, and equal signs you have to make sure they're actually equal. So we're taking a limit over here, should take a limit over there. Alright. So now what cancels? Let's see. I see minus 1 plus 1. Okay, minus 2x plus 2x. And, well, plus x squared minus x squared. And I think that looks like it. So we got the limit as h approaches 0 of negative 2xh minus h squared plus 2h all over h. Well, I can factor out an h on top. I'm left with negative x minus h plus 2. H is going to cancel with the h in the denominator, which leaves us with limit as h approaches 0 of, this negative 2x over here should be negative 2x over here. Sorry about that. Should have limit as h approaches 0 of negative 2x minus h plus 2. Well, as h approaches 0 of this, well, you're just going to be left with negative 2x plus 2, which is exactly what the power rule gives us, so we know we did everything right. Okay. So using the limit definition, if you know the derivative using some other rules, well, that's great. That's a good way to check your answer, but you still need to go through this process.